Have you ever wondered about the origins of homeopathy? The story begins in the late 18th century with Samuel Hahnemann, a German physician. He was practicing medicine in an era when the conventional methods were not just ineffective, but often harmful. These methods included bloodletting, purging, and the use of toxic substances. Imagine being a doctor, watching your patients suffer, not just from their ailments, but from the very treatments intended to help them. It was enough to disillusion anyone, and Hahnemann was no exception. He found himself increasingly disenchanted with the state of medical care, and he knew there had to be a better way, a way that was more gentle, more effective. So, Hahnemann decided to take matters into his own hands. He began pursuing a new vision of healing, one that would ultimately become known as homeopathy. But this was no overnight revelation. It was a path that required extensive research, rigorous experimentation, and a radical rethinking of the principles that drove medical practice. In his quest for a better approach to healing, Hahnemann began to conduct experiments he referred to as provings. These provings involved ingesting small amounts of various substances and meticulously recording the symptoms they produced. It was a revolutionary approach, and it laid the groundwork for the development of a materia medica, a reference guide that listed substances and their associated symptoms. This was a significant departure from the medical practices of the time. Rather than causing harm in the name of treatment, Hahnemann sought to use substances that would stimulate the body's own healing processes. This belief in the body's inherent ability to heal itself would become a cornerstone of homeopathic philosophy. Hahnemann's work sparked a paradigm shift in medicine. It marked the birth of an entirely new approach to healing, homeopathy. It was born out of a desire for a more gentle and effective method of treatment, a desire to do no harm. And so, from the disillusionment of one man, a new medical discipline was born. This led Hahnemann to seek a more gentle and effective approach to healing, resulting in the inception of homeopathy. Hahnemann's journey to developing homeopathy involved a unique process called provings. To understand homeopathy, it's crucial to comprehend this concept. Imagine a time when medical treatments were often harsh and ineffective. Hahnemann, a physician in this era, sought a gentler, more effective approach. He embarked on a series of experiments, which he termed provings. In these provings, Hahnemann and a group of willing volunteers ingested small amounts of various substances. From plants to minerals, each substance was carefully selected and administered, but they didn't stop there. They meticulously recorded the symptoms they experienced after ingestion. Whether it was a change in mood or a physical ailment, no detail was too small to note down. These symptoms were then compiled, creating a comprehensive reference guide. This guide was called the Materia Medica. The name might sound like something straight out of a fantasy novel, but it was nothing short of revolutionary in the field of medicine. This Materia Medica listed each substance alongside its associated symptoms. It was, in essence, a catalog of potential remedies. Hahnemann's provings were more than just a series of experiments. They were the foundation of a new kind of medical treatment, one that focused on the individual's symptoms rather than a one-size-fits-all approach. These provings allowed Hahnemann to correlate specific substances with specific symptoms, paving the way for individualized treatment plans. But the provings and the Materia Medica were not just about treating symptoms. They also embodied a new philosophy of health and wellness. Hahnemann believed that the body had a natural ability to heal itself, and that the right substance could stimulate this healing process. The provings were a way to discover these substances, and the Materia Medica was a way to access this knowledge. The provings were a testament to Hahnemann's commitment to a gentler, more effective form of medicine. The Materia Medica was a testament to his meticulousness and his understanding of the human body. Together, they formed the bedrock of homeopathic medicine, shaping its principles and practices. This Materia Medica became an essential tool in the development of homeopathic remedies. It was a groundbreaking step towards a holistic and individualized approach to health and wellness. One of the foundational principles of homeopathy is a concept known as the law of similars. This principle, often expressed as like cures, is a cornerstone of the homeopathic approach to healing. But how exactly did this law come to be? Let's delve into the origins and implications of this fascinating concept. The law of similars can be traced back to the innovative experiments conducted by Samuel Hahnemann, the father of homeopathy. Disillusioned with the harmful and often ineffective medical practices of his time, Hahnemann embarked on a journey to find a more compassionate and effective approach to healing. In his quest, he conducted a series of experiments, or provings, where he and his volunteers ingested small amounts of various substances and meticulously recorded the symptoms they experienced. It was during these provings that Hahnemann made a revolutionary observation. A substance that could induce symptoms in a healthy person similar to those of a specific disease could potentially be used to treat that disease. The logic behind this concept was quite simple. Hahnemann believed that by introducing a substance that mimicked the symptoms of a disease, the body's natural healing processes would be stimulated, prompting it to restore balance and health. This concept, like cures like, became the bedrock of homeopathic treatment. It guided the creation of homeopathic remedies, each one tailored to treat specific symptoms based on the law of similars. If you were suffering from a fever, for instance, a homeopathic remedy might include a substance that, in its undiluted form, could induce fever-like symptoms. The idea being that this would stimulate your body's natural healing response. Over time, this principle has remained central to the practice of homeopathy, guiding practitioners in their approach to treating patients. While the law of similars may seem counterintuitive to some, it's a concept that has resonated with many and has been a significant factor in the enduring popularity of homeopathy. And so, this principle, like cures like, became a cornerstone in the practice of homeopathy. It continues to inform the development of remedies and the approach to treating patients, upholding the homeopathic commitment to gentle, individualized care. Hahnemann didn't stop at like cures like. He further experimented with the dilution of substances. This was a crucial part of his journey in establishing the principles of homeopathy. His goal was to ensure that the remedies he used were not only effective, but also safe. This led him to the concept of dilution. In his experiments, Hahnemann began diluting substances to reduce their toxicity. But he didn't just dilute these substances. He paired dilution with a process known as succession, which involved vigorous shaking. This combination was not random, but rather the result of meticulous observation and experimentation. He found that dilution and succession together reduced the risk of harmful side effects from the original substance. But what was even more fascinating was that these diluted substances seemed to retain and even enhance their healing properties. This was a breakthrough. It suggested that remedies could be both safe and potent. Hahnemann's dilution process was not about simply adding water or alcohol to a substance. It was a methodical process, often involving diluting a substance down to 1 part in 100 or even 1 part in 1,000. This process was repeated multiple times, each time followed by succession. The result was a remedy that was extremely diluted, often to the point where none of the original substance could be detected. Yet these highly diluted remedies were found to be remarkably effective. Hahnemann proposed that the process of dilution and succession imprinted the healing properties of the substance onto the diluting medium, creating a kind of energetic blueprint. This concept of highly diluted remedies became a hallmark of homeopathy, setting it apart from other forms of medicine. It's a principle that has intrigued scientists and skeptics alike. While the exact mechanism of how these diluted remedies work is still a topic of research and debate, their efficacy in treating various ailments has been reported by many patients and practitioners over the centuries. Through a process of dilution and succession, Hahnemann found that remedies became more effective. This concept of dilution is a cornerstone of homeopathy, embodying Hahnemann's commitment to gentle, safe, and effective healing. The introduction of the vital force was yet another significant contribution by Hahnemann. This concept became an integral part of the homeopathic philosophy, providing a theoretical framework that underpins the practice. Hahnemann postulated the existence of a life force, a vital energy that maintains the body's equilibrium and promotes health. He believed that disturbances in this vital force were responsible for the manifestation of disease. When a person is sick, it's not just their body that's affected, but their vital force is also disrupted, leading to an imbalance. Homeopathic remedies, in Hahnemann's view, were not mere antidotes to illness. Instead, they are agents that stimulate the vital force, encouraging the body to restore balance and health. This concept of the vital force places homeopathy firmly within the holistic health tradition, where the focus is on the whole person rather than just their symptoms or disease. But how did this philosophy spread beyond Germany? Homeopathy gradually gained popularity in Europe during the 19th century. Its principles resonated with people who were disillusioned with conventional medicine, which was often harsh and ineffective. In the early 1800s, homeopathy crossed the Atlantic and was introduced to the United States. Here, too, it found a receptive audience. The holistic and individualized approach of homeopathy appealed to many, and it continued to grow as a medical system. However, the journey of homeopathy has not been without its challenges. Throughout its history, it has faced debates and criticisms. Questions about the scientific validity of its principles, particularly the idea of the highly diluted remedies, have often been raised. But despite these challenges, homeopathy has endured. Today, it remains a practice used by many seeking alternative and complementary approaches to healthcare. It serves as a testament to Hahnemann's vision of a more gentle and effective approach to healing, one that respects the integral role of the vital force in maintaining health and well-being. Despite challenges and debates, homeopathy remains a practice used by many seeking alternative and complementary approaches to healthcare. From its inception to its current state, homeopathy has come a long way. Born from Samuel Hahnemann's dissatisfaction with harmful medical practices, homeopathy blossomed into a gentle, effective approach to healing. It rests on the pillars of like cures like dilution and succession and the concept of a vital life force. Despite challenges, homeopathy's holistic and individualized nature has resonated with many, cementing its place in the world of health. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the history of homeopathy. For more information, visit www.healthpathy.in.